Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of the DownSouthPackers podcast with me, your host Anthony Boyd. Today I'm going to be going over the Packers' big time win over the Detroit Lions on Thanksgiving Day. A lot of things stuck out in this game. You had Jordan Love balling, Micah Parsons obviously making a giant impact, and I think Evan Williams and Isaiah McDuffie deserve a lot of credit as well. So I'm going to talk about all those things today, go through some stats, just my personal analysis after watching the game back on the All 22 and what I thought of the game. First and foremost, I want to thank you all, though, for tuning in and listening to the podcast. I don't have much right now, but I'm super appreciative for the people that do listen. I'm thankful for you guys. I pray that we can continue to try to grow this thing and make a bigger Packers community here on this page. So I'm going to start off with Jordan Love, and obviously Jordan Love had a great day. He went 18 for 30 with over 230 or so yards and 4 touchdowns. The completion percentage is at 60%, but if you watch the game, I think that you would see that completion percentage. I mean, it's okay, but I think if you watch the game, you're not upset with how he played. He had a lot of throwaways, just trying to make sure he protected the football and not turn it over. Jordan played great on Thursday, and I think that him being able to recognize when pressure was coming was great. I mean, when he's pressured, he was like 1 for 5 or something like that. It wasn't crazy, but I think the offensive line did a great job protecting Jordan, keeping the pocket clean for him, even when there was a blitz coming or the Lions were in man coverage and they were able to cover downfield a little longer, and some of those defensive guys from the Lions were able to kind of collapse the pocket. Jordan stepped up and made great throws. I think the one to Wicks, not the game sealing throw. Obviously, that one was absurd, but the throw down the seam against the cover three, I think that was a great ball. He stepped up in the pocket as it was kind of collapsing on him. It was a little muddy. He steps up and rips it down the seam to Wicks. And when he did that, I said to myself, "Yeah, Jordan's dealing now. He's settled in on this game, and he's ready to play." So I think Jordan had an outstanding game. Obviously, 4 touchdowns is nothing to scoff at. He threw the ball. Matt LaFleur got down into the goal line and the goal to go situations and was willing to throw the ball more down in that area. And I think Jordan stepped up with some of those out breaking routes, which people don't realize those are really hard throws, throwing it across the field. On an outbreaking route, making sure you have the right trajectory, the right angle, because if not, that ball could be undercut by the corner and it's going 99 yards back the other way. So Jordan showed great arm talent. Outbreaking routes have been great for this team all year. A lot of the times you'll see him in the middle of the field areas, inside the 30s. They'll throw more outbreaking routes, but they got down to the goal line and were able to convert on a few of those situations down there. Again, 18 for 30 and 4 touchdowns. I'll take that all day. Great passer rating, I think, over 124 or something like that, if I can remember off the top of my head. I don't have it pulled up. But Jordan played great. I think the offensive line, again, I spoke about them a little bit ago, but the offensive line had a great day. One of their best games by far this season. They were able to pass protect really well in this game. There was no plays where I look at the offensive line and it's like, oh, that's a whiff. A lot of the times when you're watching the Packers offensive line this year, they're either sliding or there's miscommunication on the protection, and there's a free rusher. There's somebody who just doesn't get picked up. The Packers also did a lot of max protect in this game. So you had a Chris Brooks in there on a third down situation trying to hold and protect Jordan Love along with the tight end in pass protecting, and then maybe the tight end and the running back would leak out. But I think the offensive line for the most part in pass protection did really well. There were no sacks given up. And run blocking, they did great too. Josh Jacobs ran for 70-something yards, I believe. Let me not get that wrong. I'm going to double check that. Oh, my bad, 83 yards. Josh Jacobs ran for 83 yards. There were a lot of rushing lanes that were open. There's one play where it looks like the Red Sea parted and those guys are able to run right up the middle. You need to see that from the offensive line. That's really good considering what they've done all season. I've been on them really hard here recently because I don't think the offensive line had played well up until this point. But going to get somebody like an Aiden Hutchinson and being able to protect Jordan Love, I think that was a key thing, trying to get this offense going, keeping them in very manageable situations by not taking the negative plays. The offensive line didn't hold much. They were able to block that Detroit Lions front that can be kind of fierce at times. I think Jordan was only blitzed on like 30% of his dropbacks on Thursday. I'm sorry, kind of get my days mixed up because it's a Thanksgiving game, but only blitzed on 30% of his throws. So he was able to ball. Offensive line protected well. Offensive line was able to run block. Hopefully, we can continue that into the Bears game. I want to see that same kind of progression and growth as this offensive line continues to gel together. It seems like this unit with Anthony Belton in at left guard is going to be the unit for a while. I'm happy that they seem to have found something there. Not left guard, I'm sorry, at right guard. I'm happy to see that they seem to have found something there. And Sean Ryan did a great job at center on Sunday too. So I think the line's going to continue to grow and improve, and there's a lot to build on from this point. Going to hop over defense, man. Defense was fun to watch on Sunday. Obviously, the guy that everyone talks about, the guy that the Packers, went to trade for and made the blockbuster move with the Cowboys. Micah Parsons was fantastic. With the pressure that he was able to generate on some of those stunts and blitzes that Jeff Hafley ran on the defensive line. I think Micah was dominant on Sunday, destroying Taylor Decker on that left end, just absolutely running through him, kind of like he did with Darisaw a week ago. He was able to do the same thing against a good Detroit, not a good, they're injured, they're banged up, but some of the best Detroit linemen, he was able to get past them and create some havoc on Jared Goff. You could see it kind of sped up Goff's internal clock as well. But when you do that, you have that dominant guy like Micah, it can really mess up the offense. I think the defensive front, for the most part, did a great job, especially through the linebackers. I think Isaiah McDuffie, if you go back and watch the film, he's all over the field. Him and Edgerrin Cooper's always all over the field. But if you go back and watch, Isaiah McDuffie had a great game. Some people ask, why does he play so much? Or why, when Quay Walker's out, why is Isaiah McDuffie the one that gets to step in that situation? If you watch the film when Isaiah McDuffie plays football, he's a great football player. He fits Jeff Hafley's scheme. He obviously played for Jeff Hafley when he was at Boston College. Isaiah McDuffie is the person at the linebacker position outside of obviously the top two, Quay and Edge. But outside of those two, McDuffie's great for this defense. And him in the run game, getting through, run fitting well, and pass coverage, he's not terrible in pass coverage. Obviously, the Packers have this tendency with their hook zones in the middle of the field where they don't get depth, and I've complained about that before. But I think even so, if you go back and watch the film, there's a good bit of times where the hook zones, like the linebackers, get back deep enough in that middle of the field area, and they at least take off the tight ends now. I will say the Packers struggled against the Lions. I think there was a cover two look. Jameson Williams ran almost like a crosser, but he sat behind where the hook zones normally are. He sits back there. Jared Goff hits him. It's a catch and run situation. Jameson Williams had an outstanding day, but also if you don't bring that guy down, his speed is otherworldly. So you have to wrap him up whenever you make first contact with him. If not, he's going to be gone. You have to be able to rally. Obviously, this Packers defense is a keep the ball in front of us. Let's get up and make the tackle. End of the day, we'll keep pushing forward. But there's a lot of times where you miss a tackle. Now the Lions have a big play, and you're seeing the situation like the conversion where the defense had the Lions stopped. Carrington Valentine breaks on the screenplay, doesn't wrap up, kind of throws his body at him. Jameson Williams is too good of a ball carrier to go down off of that, stays up, and with his speed, like I said, the defense kind of over pursued at that point because they thought the play was dead, thought CV had him, but Jameson keeps going and runs in for a touchdown. So I think for the most part, the defense did a great job on Sunday. There's a lot of, you see Evan Williams flying down from the safety position. I've talked about it for weeks now on this podcast where they love to walk a safety down. If you watch the film, it almost looks like Evan Williams is anticipating a run, either him or Xavier McKinney. It's not, obviously not trying to show that every play so that a OC can pick up on it, but you can see where Evan Williams or Xavier McKinney at the snap, they're kind of lurking, watching, and if they're getting a feel for the run, they're already coming down into the box. Now there's an extra body inside the box to kind of help out with the run fits. And Evan Williams, when he comes down into the box, he does not miss those plays. He comes down in and he's wrapping up. He's making the play. He's dissecting. There was a play where Jahmyr Gibbs kind of started getting loose on everybody, cuts across the field. Evan Williams hawks him down from his safety position and makes the tackle. He was all over the place. Evan Williams is great in the run game. He's great overall as a safety. He's really emerging as one of the best safeties in the league quietly. With his production and how he can play. Obviously, has a few interceptions on the season as well. Had the game-sealing interception against the Giants a few weeks ago. I love Evan Williams and what he's brought to this defense. I think sometimes you still see Hafley kind of toy with putting Bull back there at the other safety beside Xavier McKinney. I think it's best if Bullard is in the slot. I think he has proven his worth down there in that area of the defense, but keep Evan Williams and Xavier McKinney at the safety spots. Evan's great. Obviously, Xavier McKinney is Xavier McKinney. He's what you paid for free agency. He's a great pickup to this team. But another thing that happened on Thursday, obviously, was Devontae Wyatt going down with the fractured ankle. That was hard to see for a player who had battled through some injury earlier this year, came back and was making a huge impact on the team, especially with those stunts that Hafley liked to run with Micah Parsons kind of at a Mike linebacker position standing behind him, and then you're running some crossing stunts. Like, I don't even know what you're calling them, but just trying to get Micah free in the interior of the line because a lot of those guys just don't have the foot speed to keep up with him. Using Devontae Wyatt to kind of eat up space. Micah rubs off of him and makes a big play. I'm curious to see how they're going to feel how you're going to fill Devontae Wyatt's shoes. Obviously, I don't think you can with how good of a player he is and what he means to this defense. I think you're going to have to hopefully use Warren Brinson, who I think had a great game. If you watch the tape, I think he had a really great game at the defensive tackle spot. And then Carl Brooks, hopefully when he comes back healthy, I know he was out. Hopefully he practices this upcoming week, and then plays against the Bears on the following Sunday. I hope he's able to come back. And hopefully Lucas Van Ness, I don't know the severity of his injury. I'm curious to see how he re-aggravated it on this past Sunday against the Vikings. Obviously, he didn't play this week against the Lions, so I'm curious to see how that's going to shape out. But obviously, losing Devontae Wyatt's a big loss for this defense with how good of a player he is. Going into his 5th year in the league, I think he's made a huge impact on that defensive line, and I think the Packers were banking on him taking that next big step by trading away Kenny Clark and bringing in Micah Parsons. You felt confident in Carl Brooks and Devontae Wyatt there in the defensive tackle spots. I think the Packers will be able to do it. I think they'll be fine because they have firepower elsewhere who can help out. But it sucks to see a good player like that go down for sure. Special teams wise, if we're going to look at that, I'm very confused on why the Packers will start off kicking the ball into the end zone. You're giving a team with the caliber of the Detroit Lions weapons. I know Monroe went out, but you're giving them the ball at the 35. I don't understand why you elect to do that. I wish someone would ask LaFleur why they keep doing that. If that's intentional, to me it seems intentional with how McManus is consistently doing it and kicking the ball back there. I would love for them to just kick the ball short of the end zone, kick it into the landing area, and cover the kickoff. You don't want to give a good team good field position because they're just going to take advantage of it. And with teams like the Lions who have pretty good kickers, you don't want to give them 30 yards and now they're in borderline field goal range where they could go ahead and get 3 when your defense really played good defense. Now, say you kick it into the end zone, they're stopped short of the 30. They might be 40 at the other 40 if they get 30 yards or so. Or say you stop them at the 25, they're at the 45. That's a way longer field goal, way tougher. So I would prefer if they just kicked it just short of the landing area, maybe force a fumble on one of these kickoffs. I don't know why the Packers, and I tweeted it on Sunday, but I feel like the Packers are behind the 8 ball in terms of this kickoff because even on the Packers returns, you just don't see lanes opening up in the way that you see lanes opening up for other teams. I know that we have the speed back there at returner. Bo Melton's not a bad speed guy. Savion Williams, when he's healthy back there, he's not bad as a speed guy. Those guys should be able to convert and get the ball for the Packers, closer to the 30-ish. I don't think the Packers start that close on their opening drives. That also probably has something to do with the fact there's a special teams penalty at least once a game on kickoffs. Now, granted, I think the one on Oladapo on Thursday was bad. Going back and looking at it, I don't see how you call a hold on him there. There was nothing there. I think the officials probably think, oh, yeah, well, we probably need to give the Packers their mandatory special teams penalty. But whatever, I hope the Packers can figure out the special teams. Brandon McManus kicked his field goal this week, 40-something yarder, I believe. I believe it's 40-something yards he made on Thursday. So hopefully he can continue to get healthy. was just re-signed Lucas Havershik back to the practice squad. He's back on the team. Curious why they did that, if they just released him, but that's interesting seeing that roster move. The Packers have a lot to build off of with this game. Matt LaFleur said it's not a statement win. I believe this is a statement win for the Packers. They needed this one badly in order to stay atop the NFC North. You're battling with the Bears, your biggest division rival. The Packers were able to get this win on the road with Eminem performing at halftime. I think the Packers did a great job of coming out and matching the energy and coming out and beating the Lions. Needed this one badly. Sweep Dan Campbell. Love Dan Campbell. Don't like the Lions, though, just because of players like Amon-Ra who say that Green Bay sucks. But happy for them to pull out this win. Obviously, now you get to turn your focus to the Chicago Bears, who just came off of a win today over the Philadelphia Eagles on the road. Bears fans are talking crazy now. They think they've done something. Jonathan Owens said that it's real now as they walked off the field. I'm still not a believer. The Bears are going to have to show me. Caleb Williams had a sub 50% completion percentage in this game. Doesn't really scare me much. I want to see him against this Packers defense. Obviously, losing Wyatt when they had two 100-yard rushers today is something that'll have to be paid attention to by the Packers in this next week and a half or so before they play the Bears. But I'm not worried about the Bears. I don't have much love for the Bears or the Bears fans. And hopefully the Packers can use this time to really lock in on what the Bears were able to do. Ben Johnson talked crap before the season and said he can't wait to beat Matt LaFleur twice a year. Hopefully we can go ahead and spoil that on Sunday as we get ready to take on the Bears. Well, not this Sunday, obviously, but the following Sunday. Super excited for that game. I'm super excited about this win on Thanksgiving. Again, hope you guys all enjoyed a great Thanksgiving with your families, eating good food, getting fat, and celebrating the Packers win. Of course, hope you guys can subscribe to the channel. I'm thankful for all who tune in. Thank you for spending time with me, watching this, listening to this podcast, whatever you're doing with it. I'm super appreciative of it. I pray that, again, we continue to try to grow this thing. Thank you all for all your support. Go ahead and like the video, subscribe, comment. Let me know your thoughts on the Packers win over the Lions and what are you looking forward to in this game against the Chicago Bears here in the next week or so. Thank you all. I love you, and go Pack, go.